169 Asian, so I'll be talking about Sputnik. In October 4, 1957, the first artificial satellite, named Sputnik, was launched into Earth's orbit by the Soviet Union. The announcement of Sputnik, it started the space race with the United States. The Sputnik was a single event, and it marked the start of the space age. Once it is up in space, it can detect meteorites entering the Earth's atmosphere. The satellite traveled at 18,000 miles per hour, making 96.2 minutes to complete an orbit. How long does the Sputnik stay up there? Well, the battery died out by emitting radio signals. On January 1958, Sputnik burned up and fell from orbit, then re-entering Earth's atmosphere. When it was falling down, it was traveling about 37 million miles. It only lasted 3 months in orbit. Up next is Liu Kang after this commercial break. Gatorade, is it in you?
Welcome back from the commercial break. My name is Liu Kang. Today, I'm going to talk about the Second Indo-China War. It's also called the Vietnam War. In the West and the American War in Vietnam began as a conflict between the United States-backed South Vietnamese government and its opponent. Both are the South Vietnamese-based Communist National the Liberation Front of the North Vietnam Army. Now it is known as People Army of Vietnam. It all began in the late 1950s and ended at 1975. The United States supported France in the First World Package in South Vietnam government and opponents to the National Liberation Front of the Communist Ally NVA. Laos between the U.S.-backed government, NVA, and the communist-backed Patho Laos. Laos's Civil War or the Secret War is 1962 ended 1975. After these commercial break, Long Vane will be talking about the killing fields at Cambodia. Go back from the commercial break. My name is Long Vane, and I will be talking about the killing fields at Cambodia. So, under the Khmer Rouge, the route to the killing fields was a there an interrogation center. The most famous was spent on President and the Cheong Lake Extermination Center. Besides that, a high school called Torres Prairie was controlled by the Khmer Rouge in 1936. And the Khmer Rouge renamed the school security into a torture, interrogation, and the execution center. About 1,720 workers controlled the prison. The prison were Vietnamese, Laos, Thai, Indian, Pakistan, and American nationals, but the majority were Cambodians. Now, in contrast, the killing fields now seem peaceful. And now, next will be also talking about the Cultural Revolution in China. After a short commercial break.
Long, what kind of backpack is that?
Transport.
Back from the short commercial. Hey, I'm Joshua, and I'm here for the late news about the People's Republic in China. Here, the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, commonly known as the Cultural Revolution, Chinese Pinyin Wenhua Dezhiming, a social-political movement that took place in People's Republic of China from 1966 through 1976. It was set into the motion by Mao Zedong, then chairman of the Communist Party of China. Its started goal was to enforce socialism in the country by removing capitalist, traditional, and cultural elements from Chinese society, and to impose Mao's orthodoxy within the party. The revolution marked Mao Zedong's clear position of the absolute power after the failed Great Leap Forward. The movement particularly paralyzed the country and significantly affected the country economically and socially. Mao officially declared the Cultural Revolution has ended in 1960. Now here, everyone will be explaining about Nelson Mandela after this short commercial.
PSP.
Welcome back. My name is Eduardo Aguilar, and I'm here to talk about Nelson Mandela. Mandela was born in South Africa, the son of a leader of the Taboo people. Nelson Mandela explored many ways to end apartheid in South Africa. He could become a chef like his father, but Mandela wanted to be a lawyer. While a student, Mandela got involved in the struggle against racial segregation. In 1940, he was expelled from the university from taking part of the process. Then Mandela moved to Johannesburg to finish his law studies there. During this time, Mandela became active in the African National Congress, the ANC. In 1960, the ANC urged people across the country to turn out to protest laws restricted to the movement of the influence of the blacks. Later then, Mandela was jailed in 1962. He was tried and sentenced to 5 years in prison for stirring up actions against the government. Later on, Mandela was sentenced to for life in prison for stabbing, treason, and violating the conspiracy. Even in prison, Mandela remained focused in his fighting against apartheid. Then he wrote his autobiography in secret. Soon people started talking about it loudly against apartheid. Mandela was released. Then, after a few years of negotiation with Mandela, he became South Africa's first black president. He also made history because Mandela was a symbol for his country. Thank you for watching Asian Code. Have a great night.